A signature stamp is basically a stamp that artists use to mark their different ceramic pieces with. Instead of writing their names, they just use one of their stamps. Sometimes it has their initial, sometimes it has a something that describes them or something that sets them off unique from other people. Feel free to keep writing your names on the bottom of the pot too, so that way you have both your stamp and your actual name, but this is kind of adds a little artistic flair to the pots as well. So to make a stamp, basically you need to start off with a piece of clay, and it doesn't have to be anything special as long as it has a flat end so you can stamp your piece with. So you're going to get a piece of clay. Doesn't have to be very big. Oops. Going to get the air bubbles out and just start rolling it. Don't really worry about the shape now, we'll do that later. So roll it, then cut it in half. So you have a nice piece. You can kind of tap it on the table to make it perfectly flat. Same thing with this. Once you get these done, you're going to put them in front of the fan to dry, because we want them to dry to leather hard, and that way when we cut them, there'll be nice, crisp, even lines. So put this in front of the fan for about 3 or 4 minutes. Don't forget it there, because if it dries out completely, you're not going to be able to use it. So I will put these over there and be right back. Before you actually start carving into your pieces once they're dry in the fan, you need to come up with some sort of sketch. So let's say I want to do my initials. They are A.P. Alright? Now if I want my stamp to turn out like this, I need to write my initials backwards. This needs to be my stamp, because then when I flip it over and actually stamp it in the piece, it'll go right side up. So keep in mind, anything that you want to be written correctly, you have to draw it backwards when you do your stamp. Also think about what outer shape you want your stamp to be. Do you want it to be a circle? Do you want it to be a square, rectangle, triangle, hexagon? Come up with some creative things. And once you have that done, let's say I want to just make a square with my initials in the middle. I'm going to take one of my dried pieces from the fan. Take your knife. If there's any pieces of clay on your knife, just rub it against the side of the table to break those pieces off. And I'm going to start by carving my initials in there. So I have to do it backwards, so I'm going to start with my P first. Whoops. Then A. Obviously this is pretty crappy, you did a lot better job. Okay, so once I have them there, then I can cut around with my knife. Look at how nice and clean that line is because it's leather hard. So cut around, make it as perfect and square and as nice as possible. You don't have to worry about all the rest of it, you just have to worry about this final piece. Now this piece is not done, it's pretty crappy looking. You want your pieces, like if this is one I just drew in, you want to clean up your piece really nice, like this. You want that groove to be a lot thicker than just the needle tool, and you want it to clean out any of these little tiny specks of clay. So it's a little trick to do that is to get a sharpened pencil, probably a little bit more sharpened than this, and go over your lines with a sharpened pencil, and they'll clean them up a lot better. Okay, I have Q-tip crying down here, that's why I'm not doing this very well. But seriously, get a sharpened pencil, clean up all those lines, you can make it look really nice. Once you're done, write your name on the side so I know whose it is. Arlene Parsons. And then put this in front of the fan to dry completely, then we'll fire it. That is how you make a signature stamp.